This episode of Neo Reality Collective is brought to you by The Everyday Fan. Check out their content and a passionate group of content creators getting together to create content for the growing community of pop culture, fan base, fandoms, and especially sports such as football, basketball, baseball, professional wrestling, and MMA fantasy sport. Control your content and share your story around the world today.
The Neo Reality Entertainment brand expands with a relaunch of the Neo Reality Collective Pop Culture News Talk. Your host, Eric Brown, gives his insights and thoughts in the ever-expanding news world of comic books, professional wrestling, gaming, TV, and movies. Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniversa.
Welcome back, everyone, to Neo Reality Collective. I am your host, Eric Brown, and today we're finally catching up on some news that happened over the Thanksgiving week and partially from last week, and oh god. So let's get right into things. We've already bad news. Battlefield 2042. Remember that game? Yeah. Well, they released on November 22nd, they released the Season 3 event, known as Escalation, bringing a new map, battle pass, and specialists and more. The new map, Spearhead, puts players in the Swedish wilderness as they fight in and around two high-tech weapon manufacturing facilities. It will also see the launch maps Manifest and Breakaway reworked, but not until December and January, respectively. A refreshed 100-tier battle pass system will also arrive with the update. That includes a new specialist as one of the few unlockables. This Egyptian-born security expert comes armed with an XM370A airburst launcher designed to force enemies out of cover and the fastest health recharge of any specialist. Speaking of weapons, Season 3 brings the Warsh MK4 Railgun, NVK S22 Smart Shotgun, NVK P125, a bullpup pistol, and the Battlefield favorite throwing knives to 2042. A new vehicle, the EMK V90 TOR tank, is also being added to the game, which would also be switched into different modes depending on the situation. New assignments as well, letting players unlock even more bolt weapons to use the all-out warfare mode. And, how do I say this delicately? No one cares. Honest to God facts, I don't think anyone cares anymore. Why does no one care? Because first impressions are important. You launch the game as a beta horribly, and then you launch the game horribly. I do not care about this launch. And I've seen people go ahead and defend Battlefield 2042, saying it's better now than it was at the start. Okay, question. Why not have it have been delayed and just around this time, and we probably would have been giving a much better tune? No, that would have asked too much from people. We have tribalists defending this game. So, Activision-Blizzard, that company, remember that controversial stuff that happened with China all those years ago? Well, it seems that their deal with NetEase has finally come to an end because they were unable to reach a new agreement, and therefore that triggers a huge event for China in January 23 of January 23rd. Overwatch, Diablo, and other Activision-Blizzard games will soon become unplayable. Activision-Blizzard is also looking for alternative ways to bring its games to China, but it's unclear if and when that may happen. Oh, God. NetEase promised to serve its players until the last minute and keep their data and assets well protected. Meanwhile, all the continued expansions for World of Warcraft Dragonflight, Hearthstone, March of the Lich King, and Overwatch Season 2 will all continue to be released, but new sales of discounted games will be suspended in the coming days. So everything that Blitzchung went through, well, now it's completely pointless in the eyes of people, because now they have broken their ties with China, and Activision-Blizzard doesn't know what to do next. Meanwhile, Dead Island 2 got delayed to April 2023 of the 28th. Oh, God. And they even acknowledge that the irony of delaying is not lost to them. And they just try to say it's 12 weeks. I'm like, I don't think anyone cares anymore about Dead Island. Like, did anyone even remember this game was in development still until like halfway of this year when they started bringing it up again? I don't think so. I honestly keep forgetting about it. Meanwhile, Fed Alvarez's upcoming Alien movie may have found the next brave soul going head-to-head with the Xenomorphs. According to Deadline, Callie, I can't pronounce the name, is in talks to star in the next Alien movie following the tradition of Sigourney Weaver, Naomi Rapace, and Catherine Watterson, and who have all starred in Alien movies over the years. Best known for her role as Erin McMillan in Mayor of Easttown, and that's M-A-R-E, not M-A-Y-O-R, in HBO series, and she will be starring as Priscilla Presley as in Sofia Coppola's adaptation of memoir Elvis and Me. The new Alien movie is also coming to Hulu and has apparently personally garnered the attention of Ridley Scott himself. According to Alvarez, he pitched his Alien idea to Scott, and years later Scott called Alvarez asking if he still wanted to make it. According to Deadline, Scott's company Scott Free and 20th Century made Alvarez's Alien idea a top priority, though details about the plot and characters haven't been announced, though there will presumably be a Xenomorph or two. The director is also known for his roles in the Evil Dead reboot, and he also wrote the story to the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the original film Don't Breathe. So, yeah. Meanwhile, John Leguizamo, of the Luigi actor, calls out the Mario movie casting. Super Mario Bros. John Leguizamo isn't a fan of the new casting of the Super Mario movie. During an interview with IndieWire, the former Luigi actor complained about the upcoming movie's lack of diversity compared to the 1993 film. The director, Jankel and Rocky Morton, fought really hard for me to be in the lead because I was a Latin man, and the studio didn't want me to be in the lead. They fought really hard, and it was such a breakthrough for them to go backwards and not cast an actor of color kind of sucks. I would like to point out that Chris Pratt's voicing Mario. Yeah, I still can't see this. And I haven't even watched the trailer, but I kept hearing that everyone has said the same thing. It's basically Chris Pratt voicing himself, not voicing Mario. I get the feeling, like, he kept saying how he was, saying he's been working on his Mario impersonation. I get the feeling that they did have there is a recorded footage of him speaking like Mario, but they decided, okay, that sucked, just speak normally. Like, that's my only explanation how to justify how they changed the voice acting ability. So, Joseph Quinn, aka Eddie, from Stranger Things, is currently in negotiations to join A Quiet Place Day One in a leading role. Quinn will star alongside, I can't pronounce the name, in the spin-off film for Paramount. While not much is known about the prequel, the film will hopefully set up the potential Quiet Place universe that Paramount could build upon for years to come. The spin-off will be directed and written by Michael Swansky, who previously directed the Nick Cage film Pig. For Quinn, the role represents a blossoming career that has taken off since the fourth season of Stranger Things introduced and killed Eddie Munson. The actor earned rave reviews for his role, and the season continued to break records for Netflix viewership. Quinn also appeared in BBC's One's Les Miserables and 2018's Overlord, as well as a small role in Game of Thrones. So, A Quiet Place Day One is once again based on an idea from John Krasinski, who directed and starred in the first two Quiet Place films. While it hasn't been entirely confirmed, it's unlikely that the actors and co-star Emily Blunt will be reprising the role for their installment. Currently, the franchise is developing the third film in the series, with him returning to direct. Film currently slated for 2025. So, yeah. Look forward to Day One. It will release on March 8th, 2024. Meanwhile, everyone's been talking about Starfield's original release date has come and gone, and it was, delayed around the halfway mark of this year. Phil Spencer is confident in his decision to delay the game. Speaking of The Verge, inspired by PC Gamer, Spencer said that releasing a game too early is a mistake by the company has made before, and especially as Starfield is the first Bethesda game to be released as an Xbox exclusive, he wanted the developers to feel supported by their new publisher. Okay, how about you fire Todd Howard and then we can talk? We have experienced shipping games too early, like Halo Infinite. But in hindsight, when you look at the game like Starfield, which is taking so long and so much investment in new IP from the team, the decision to give the team the time to build the game that they feel should be building is just the right thing to do. Starfield and Redfall, which are the first big Xbox games with Bethesda's ZeniMax owners coming into the team, I just wanted to make sure that these teams felt they had the support they could get from Xbox, maybe feel some of the benefit of being part of a larger organization that has other revenue streams and other things going on that could be helpful. Yeah. So, Phil Spencer at least is smart to know that he can't just, do what Todd Howard did or what Xbox did previously or what they recently had done with Halo Infinite, because imagine if Halo Infinite got delayed another year and came out this month with the Forge mode, with all that stuff, it probably would have gotten a lot better reception from big popular YouTubers. That and co-opting developers not trying to screw people over. So, BioShock creator and Take-Two Interactive are involved with the upcoming movie of BioShock, saying the game, which is apparently really true to the game, saying it will stay true to the game and whatnot. During an interview with Collider, the director, Francis Lawrence, explained how Netflix has given him free rein to tackle the movie as he sees fit, and that means working alongside the creator. Basically, me and Cameron, who works with me and Michael, are getting to do what we want to do, which is great. A lot of it is staying really true to the game itself, and we're talking to Take-Two Interactive and Ken Levy. So, when I heard this, I was thinking to myself, okay, I get it's trying to stay true to the tone and style of the game, but my concern was that if it takes it too much from the game, to the point it's just basically a non-interactive version of the game. Oh man. So I'm hoping that they do make some changes and make the necessary changes to make the film version stand out from its original predecessor, so we'll have to see. Meanwhile, DC's James Gunn, who had recently had his Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special released on Disney Plus during the Thanksgiving week, has teased that there's going to be a Mr. Terrific project. Finally. So apparently the new DC universe is set to include, the DCEU is set to include Mr. Terrific down the road. And considering how they recanonized the GSA into the DCEU with Black Adam, yeah, since, there's been no mention of them in any other films, so they'll have to find a way to explain that down the road. But speaking of, yeah, Mr. Terrific being involved in the future DCU does sound kind of cool. He made his first appearance back in comics in 1942, and two different people have taken on the role. Terry Salone, originally followed by Michael Holt. The photo Gunn posted specifically of Holt, who appeared in DC Arrowverse with her role in Arrow Season 4 to Season 8. And, yeah, basically he has 14 PhDs, a high-tech firm he eventually sells to Wayne Tech, oh boy, and is a gold medal winning Olympian. After the accidental death of his family, he takes on the mantle of Mr. Terrific and joins the Justice Society of America, which, like I mentioned, is recently seen in DC's Black Adam. Unknown currently is the role of will Mr. Terrific play in their plan for the DCEU. The two CEOs have started work on their 8 to 10 year plan for films, games, animation projects, and more. Yeah. See, this is the thing I had an issue with. Like, they came out and said the games would also follow the DCEU, which is like, not everyone who watches movies plays the games, and not everyone who plays the games watches the movies, which means problems could happen. Meanwhile, Multiverses Season 2 kicked off around November 15th, and yeah, there will be no pass tiers without rewards. You can equip up to 3 badges at once. The Silly Queue includes four fun game modes and items. Big Head mode, 3 items include bounce pad, proximity mine, and drumstick. New cosmetics include Uncle Shagworthy and Samurai Batman. The Space Jam map now keeps a score of baskets made. The new intro tutorial has been simplified. Character balance updates and network latency improvements also added. So, yeah. So, Multiverses is certainly doing well. Meanwhile, the co-creator of Fable, and surprisingly not the other guy who likes to brag about much, Din Carter revealed that the original Fable could have been entirely different, where he said on Twitter this: "When you're feeling lost, steal it. 100% rip it off from another game." Oh god. What he was doing was trying to steal Devil May Cry and turn it into Fable. He then also said on November 14th on Twitter, saying, "I'm sure everyone knows this hack already, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. On the odd chance that saves someone from going completely off the rails during their dev, it's a hint about scope. When you're feeling lost, steal it. 100% rip it off from another game." And he talked about how he did that in Devil May Cry. Oh god. So he then comes out and says, literally copying the scope of Devil May Cry, the interaction density of Silent Hill, the encounter style of the first wave of the Samurai, changed Fable from a floppy, undefined, never-ending death march to something we could actually complete without ever having to work on a 3D game. Peter Molyneux would be proud. So, apparently there were so Rockstar apparently did slam the brakes on a Grand Theft Auto film led by Eminem. Oh, I'm trying to get the name right. With Top Gun helmet Tony Scott in the director's chair. So they gave them a $5 million. So Grandest Game Podcast, it revealed per Eurogamer that an LA producer once approached the Rockstar company with a $5 million offer to buy the rights to a Grand Theft Auto movie, and they turned it down. This was they did discuss previously, allegedly, a possibility of a tie-in following the launch of GTA 3, but when the offer for a Grand Theft Auto film was eventually put on the table, the brothers declined the deal, telling Ewing that they were not interested in going down that route, and that's where the conversation ended. Would it have been good? Well, around that time, no, it probably wouldn't have. Games still have a struggle trying to get market share in the film industry, but back then it probably would have been a massacre. Meanwhile, on November 29th, the Winter Soldier joins the Marvel's Avengers game in their next update. Cool. Meanwhile, Rian Johnson, the director of The Last Jedi, really wants to make another Star Wars film. Saying, making Star Wars was the high point of my life. I pray to God I'll be back there someday. We'll have to see. Let's just hope he doesn't get compromised by the Disney management. Meanwhile, back on November 12th, it was announced by Variety that Bob Chapek sent an internal memo to top executives at the company on Friday, November 11th, saying that there are coming leaks that are going to be difficult ones, revealing that there's going to be big layoffs alongside targeted hiring freeze and travel limits. Oh, I'm sure there's not going to be any changes in management that's going to stop that from happening, or some hell going to break loose. Because that would be crazy. But we'll be back after these messages to continue the last half of these articles and news reports. This is your host, Eric Brown of Neo Reality Collective, Pop Culture News and Reviews Talk. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you all again in a few minutes. Peace and take care, and keep on popping for now. Be back later. We're back. Let's finish this whole thing off and finally get something done. Been mostly focusing on my wrestling content on my YouTube channels. Stranger Things Season 5 will be a thematic conclusion to all the previous seasons. I would certainly hope so. I'm like, the last time I heard that everything that happened previously will matter at the end, I'm getting Mass Effect 3 flashbacks. Oh man. So, it's reported by Variety, the Duffer Brothers participated in the FYC panel discussion on Sunday night around that week, alongside director Sean Levy and the series stars, and a virtual about Millie Bobby Brown. At the event, the creative team behind the Netflix hit offered the first hints about what the fans could expect for the highly anticipated fifth and final season. Ross said that they're viewing season 5 as a culmination of all the seasons, with a little bit of everything from the past. He also noted that season 3 was a big summer blockbuster season with big monsters, while season 4 was a psychological horror, but now they're trying to go back to the beginning. He acknowledged that the tone will likely end up being closer to that of the first season, but scale-wise, the last group of episodes will be more aligned with the fourth season. Season 4 allegedly per cost had an episode cost of $30 million per episode, and making it one of the most expensive seasons in history, though it later became Netflix's first English-language series to pass 1 billion hours of watch time. Matt Reeves and Ross previously hinted that the fifth season won't be as long as the season 4's 13-hour runtime. There will be less set up before the kids get drawn into the supernatural mystery. However, the emotional stakes are not expected to be impacted by potentially shorter season, as the team at FYC panel revealed that some Netflix success were in tears during the 2-hour pitch for the final season. Just as important as the supernatural, we have so many characters now, most of whom are still living. It's important to wrap up those arcs because a lot of those characters have been growing since season 1, so it's a balancing act between giving them time to complete their character arcs and also trying to tie up loose ends and doing our final reveals. And the first episode of the final season will be titled The Crawl. The premiere is expected to drop alongside all, or at least most, of the episodes on the same day, rather than switching to the weekly releases. Those were knowing season 4 was split into 2 sets of releases, so that could be on the table again. I would certainly hope that this would be a thematic conclusion to all the previous seasons, or else we'd be getting Mass Effect 3 flashbacks. Meanwhile, coming in December, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is getting a next-gen update for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. It will include a dozen visual performance and technical enhancements over the original, including ray tracing support, faster loading times on consoles, as well as a variety of mods integrated into the experience, amongst many others. More details on those integrated mods and other features will be shared during a Twitch live stream, but CD Projekt Red has otherwise confirmed the next-gen version will include all pre-release DLC content alongside new content based on the Witcher Netflix series. The game was originally expected to be released last year before being delayed twice, with the third-party studio Saber Interactive originally developing the new version. CD Projekt Red took over itself in April 2022, though persisted that the game was not in development hell. So, get ready for the Witcher 3 Reborn. So, apparently, remember how the NetEase and Blizzard's relationship kind of came to an end? Well, IGN learned additional details leading to what ended the Activision Blizzard 14-year partnership with NetEase, following one NetEase executive's social media statement pointing the finger at a jerk. According to sources at the company, or the company's partnership with NetEase, the agreements between the two companies are reviewed every few years in order to extend the existing agreements. However, a new proposal would have fundamentally changed the terms of the agreement and impact certain aspects, including dealing how the games are launched and operated, as well as changes over the control of their IP. One source also noted that the company is committed to the Chinese gaming market, one of the largest consumer markets in the world, and that alternatives are being looked into to bring the games back into the region in the future. So, that partnership is officially dead, and it's all because of, quote, one jerk. A quote of one senior NetEase figure. So, who it is, I don't know. Meanwhile, Amy Adams says she would return as Lois Lane in new Superman films if the deal ever comes up, since Henry Cavill is back, so yeah, get ready for that. She would come back as Lois Lane and everything, and she hasn't been seen since the Justice League film, or even the Zack Snyder Justice League film, stating that when asked about her return, they haven't spoken to me about it, but if it is me, great. If it's somebody else, the role of Lois Lane has been filled by so many wonderful actresses in the past, so I'll support whatever direction they go. So, while it does look like Henry Cavill is back for more Superman films, there has been a setback. According to numerous insiders with knowledge of the situation, although it has been previously reported that the search for a writer was currently underway, the fact is that there's currently no writer-director attached to a Superman project, and there's no formal deal been made with Cavill to return. The move additionally, according to insiders, it currently stands at the moment, there's no forward momentum on the project, while newly installed DC studio bosses have been busy fine-tuning their long-range plan for the DCU. Damn it. So, heading into this, we don't know what's gonna happen. Great. Meanwhile, Escape from New York reboot is coming from Screen Directors. Deadline reported that Radio Silence, which consists of filmmakers, I can't pronounce their names, one of them, Matt, Tyler, and Chad Carpenter, will serve as the film's executive producer of this reboot. Oh, man. Yeah, let's just continue butchering our childhoods for people who were around that time. In fact, wasn't Hideo Kojima inspired by Escape from New York because that led to Metal Gear? In fact, I think it even led to that name, Solid Snake. Yeah. Meanwhile, during the whole heading into the week of Thanksgiving, Twitter had to close all of its office buildings as employees were signed en masse. Damn it. So, yeah. Offices reopen on November 21st, but yeah, everything's kind of been a disaster at Twitter. So much so that Elon Musk is already thinking about stepping away from Twitter, meaning that you spent $44 billion for nothing. So, yeah. Sucks, doesn't it? Meanwhile, something else has happened in the wake of the DCU. Now, Dark Crisis is not over yet. Let's make that clear. Dark Crisis is not over yet, but it has been announced by DC Comics' publication site, DC.com, that we will be getting the new initiative Dawn of DC, starting in January 2023 with a series of titles, such as a relaunch of Batman, of Action Comics. DC Comics is embarking on a year-long storytelling initiative following the events of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths and DC Universe's Lazarus Planet. The world's superheroes have emerged from the biggest, most devastating battles of their lives and are reinvigorated in their fights against evil. With epic new storylines, over 20 new exciting titles, superstar creative teams, and villains that will push the heroes beyond their limits in bold adventures, this line-wide multi-event narrative initiative kicks off in January Action Comics 1051. So, this is what the press release came out with. After the near multiverse-ending events of Dark Crisis and the Lazarus Planet event, the DC Universe will be heading towards the light, with a brand new series and story arcs from some of the top creative members in comics, Dawn of DC is one of our most ambitious initiatives ever, and is a changing for us to tell bigger and bolder stories across our line. With bold new directions for DC's biggest characters such as Batman, Superman, Nightwing, Harley Quinn, and Poison Ivy, Dawn of DC is an easy entry point for lifelong readers and those picking up comics for the first time. Over 20 new titles will be launching throughout the 2023 as part of the Dawn DC event, featuring Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Shazam, Doom Patrol, Green Arrow, Cyborg, the Penguin, and more. Such as Action Comics, let's see, the Doom Patrol is coming back as Unstoppable Doom Patrol, Superboy, the Man of Tomorrow, a new Green Lantern series. So there will be 2 Green Lanterns. One is Hal Jordan and one is Jon Stewart. The Green Arrow comes back since he disappeared in Dark Crisis. Batman the Brave and the Bold, because we need more more titles from Batman. Damn it. Shazam, #1, by Mark Waid and Dan Mora, who are once again going to work double duty with this, along with Batman Superman World's Finest. We also get The Penguin, which will be available in June with writer Tom King. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get some more people pissed off about that. And there does seem to be some teasing that we might have Brainiac involved in this event. So get ready for all that hijinks. And it seems Hawkman and Hawkgirl will have their own series going on. And it will somehow lead to a new event comic called Night Terrors, from what reports are coming out about about what came out about in it when people edited the Dawn of DC poster. Personally, I still hope for a Donna Troy miniseries ongoing, so let me dream. Meanwhile, Amazon is planning to release a spin-off based on Marvel's Silk, an upcoming Spider-Man spin-off heading to Prime Video. It will see the Spideyverse alumni Phil Lord and Chris Miller, as well as Sony boss Amy Pascal as executive producers, with Angela Kang saying, "I'm beyond thrilled to be joined as Amazon Studios family for this next chapter in my career. I look forward to working with the top executive teams and the diverse character for water cooler shows for a global audience, and I'm so excited to dive into my first challenge, bringing Korean American superhero Silk to life on screen." The character is called Cindy Moon, aka Silk, a Korean American who was bitten by the same spider that bit Peter Parker, imbuing her with spider sense, web shooting, and superhuman strength, speed, and agility. Originally created by Dan Slott and Herberto Ramos. Additionally, Silk Spider Society will be the first series in the Spider-Man spin-offs heading to Prime Video as part of a multi-series deal. So, yeah, this was part of the development of back in 2020 as part of Sony's ongoing efforts to build its own Spider-Verse. And she already technically made her debut in the MCU as a classmate of Tom Holland's Peter Parker in the recent movies Spider-Man Homecoming and Avengers Infinity War. Currently unknown if the actress will return for that series, whether or will the role simply be recast, or this is an alternate version of her. Meanwhile, Fast X's budget reportedly ballooned out of control after the whole disaster that happened with its director, due to Justin Lin's fallout with Vin Diesel, and yeah, it now has cost them over $340 million, which is higher than F9's estimated $200 million budget. Ouch. Meanwhile, Chris Hemsworth has been teasing the end of his run as Thor. If they're going to make another Thor movie, it will probably be his last. And right now, he's currently taking a break from acting because he has discovered something horrendous. He is genetically predisposed. He is basically... Okay, Chris Hemsworth learned... It's not predetermined yet, but it's looking like it's a strong indication that he is destined to get Alzheimer's. So he's taking a break from acting following the Alzheimer's revelation. Yeah, so he's learned the horrid truth that he may be doomed to become have Alzheimer's disease. Oh boy. So that was depressing. Meanwhile, the hit comedy drama The White Lotus will be heading back to HBO for a third season. Yay! Meanwhile, Marvel's Blade hires Lovecraft Country director and shifts to darker and grittier take on the MCU. Marvel's Blade has found its new director, THR, aka The Hollywood Reporter, reports that the upcoming reboot will be helmed by Ian Diamond, who previously directed the pilot to HBO's Lovecraft Country. He'll be joined by Michael Starberry, who will pen a new script for the movie. The pair are replacing the original person who was in charge, who suddenly departed the project back in September over the creative differences, and causing that involved the several release dates shifting as a result, and hitting the pause on the project. The process also reportedly included the actor being personally involved in selecting the writer for the new script as the new writer. Yeah. So it seems Blade's getting back on track, but it has so right now it's currently set to start production in 2023 with the release date planned for September 2024. But remember how I mentioned the disaster of sorts going on at Disney with that layoffs? It's not even been a full year yet, but Bob Chapek has been fired as Disney CEO, and Bob Iger is back in. So he will be serving. Bob Iger will be back as CEO of Disney for a second time for the next 2 years, the company says. His mission will include identifying a proper successor, something Iger has difficulty doing while commanding the troops for the last time. Postponing multiple projects to step down during his 15 years on the top job, the final stage of the 47-year run at Disney. So Bob Chapek, who recently pissed off fans by saying animation is for kids only and not at all a genre, and not even a medium of entertainment, is just a genre of film. God damn it, film and TV, and not his own medium for bold and fantastic storytelling. It's just for kids. And I will remind you, The Clone Wars is a kids show. God damn it. Yeah, I'm sure kids love to see decapitations, child soldiers, children being killed in war or being hunted for sport. I'm sure all kids were the main target audience for this. Definitely not adults involved in this too. Like, let's talk about the slave trade in America by making the Zygerian Empire basically be an allegory for the slave trade that America went through. Ain't it just for kids? Damn it! Oh god. Oh god, that was a thing. Okay. I'm glad to finally have gotten this episode over and done with. I'll be seeing you all again next time. I will be trying to get back up on the whole Judgment Day event and Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, especially before the big finales come after that. Oh god, this is so crazy. We'll be seeing you all again next time on Neo Reality Collective Pop Culture News and Reviews Talk. I'm your host, Eric Brown, as always, of Neo Reality Collective. Feel free to check out my other content throughout YouTube, Twitter, and other spaces. This episode brought to you by theeverydayfans.com. Feel free to check that out and stay tuned for more. I'll see you all again next time. Peace and take care, everybody, and have a good day, all.
Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniversa.